Joining us now to read some of today's headlines from the newspaper around the world is Arise News analyst Yemi Ajayi. Greatest last white. Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Aya.
Good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
Yeah.
Now let's start the newspaper review with this day. Nigerian newspaper of record. The lead story: Senate screens Supreme Court Justice nominees. Abiru, Tsammani, Adumein, Sankey, Umar, Adumein, Adah, Umar, Idris. Frowns at emergency appointment by NJC. Now, from the list story, we go to the window story. For smoother Yuletide, FD approves free transportation for commuters. Favors Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Kaduna, Warri, Itakpe rail corridors. OK's 50% reduction in road transportation on 28 routes nationwide. Then we come to the bottom street promo there. Nigeria's public debt grows by 0.61% in 3 months to 87.91 trillion. And lastly, from this day is the story beside the picture below the masthead. Lamido, Tinubu didn't broker peace in Rivers. He enhanced APC's fortunes. Now, from this day, we move to The Punch newspaper. We have the story above the masthead. Reps probe NNPCL JV deals $60 billion revenue loss. Then another story by the left-hand corner. FG cuts external borrowing debt. Cut external borrowing debt soars to 88 trillion. Now, from The Punch, we move to The Nation newspaper. The Nation. The story below the masthead on the right-hand corner. Amosu Oshiomhole exchanged salvos over APC torso. Then the story on the left-hand corner, bonds, promissory notes, contractors' bills push debt profile to 87.91 trillion. Then there is a rider, external debt falls from 43.16 billion to 41.59 billion. And lastly, from Nation, we have the story above the list story, the promo that give air passengers daily weather updates. Okonko test Naimet. Now, from Nation, we go to The Guardian. The Guardian story, the list story of The Guardian: 78,446 inmates in their straits, over 750 naira daily feeding costs. And below that story on the left is another story. Yaba Psychiatric Hospital records 100% admission spike, says CMD. And below that, beside the bottom picture, Fubara denies signing peace deal under duress, refuses to withdraw suit. And from The Guardian, we go to Daily Trust. The Daily Trust, the promo section under the masthead, the middle one, pro-Wike lawmakers withdraw impeachment notice against Fubara. Then we have the story beside that, FD vows to prosecute kidney traffickers. From Daily Trust, we move to the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune. The list story there, Amosu blasts Oshiomhole, accuses him of conducting worst primaries in history of democracy, cautions him from playing blame game in his ouster as APC chairman. Then from Tribune, we move to New Telegraph. New Telegraph story. Yuletide, Fuel pump prices rise, now 620 naira / 700 naira per liter across Nigeria. Then we have the window story there above the masthead. FG's redemption of $500 million Euro bond crashes foreign debt to 41.59 billion. And from there, let's go to the foreign newspapers. The foreign newspapers, we go to The Guardian. The Guardian. Outrage over police access to 50 million driving licenses to run face checks. Then the story below that, beside the picture on the left, Biden says US pushing for second deal on hostages. And from The Guardian, let's take a story, the next story from The Times. Cheaper mortgages said to ease living costs. Well, that's all we take now. I mean, let's have a discussion around the headlines.
So many stories. Thank you so much for your presentation of the stories. I'd like to say, and I'd like to go still on this Rivers matter. Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa State, was speaking and he said there was no resolution. It was just a consolidation by the president. And I'd like to align with him. If everything based on that interview is to go by, but I'm still going to reiterate for the often time that that was just one side of the story. We didn't hear the full story. But in that interview, David Briggs did say that the president was excited. In fact, that he said that if people come into my fold, I'm going to welcome them in. And it is true. Whoever told Wike to go ahead and get those 27 lawmakers loyal to him to defect so that he will make a good case with Tinubu probably advised him right and read the room on the game. Because now, President Tinubu, although we know it's unconstitutional because once lawmakers defect, they should be able to lose their seat. But President Tinubu has the compliment in Rivers State that he had always wanted to win of, and which he did win, of 27 lawmakers aligning to the APC. And he's going to dig it further. So the question is Rivers State going to even flip to become an APC state? And what is the PDP looking at? So if a top PDP stakeholder like Sule Lamido has been able to come out to say this, then it's correct. He consolidated and said, but another part of it is, does it make it good for democracy? No. The president must be the bastion of rule of law. He swore by the Constitution. Why do we have a swearing-in ceremony? So help me God. I solemnly swear that I will abide by the Constitution. What does the Constitution say about defection? So the president, being part of those that brought a paper that violates the Constitution, we must remind him that he swore by the Constitution. He didn't swear by APC's interests. He didn't swear by PDP's interests. He swore by the Constitution. And because this is also the president that when he was governor, he took Olusegun Obasanjo to court as regards his strong constitutional matter like creation of local government. And he did win. So because it benefits you today, what is changing? Some people argue and say, oh, Rufai, politically, you know, when something swings in your favor. But you see, what a statesman mean is the fact that you say, I know it doesn't favor me or it's in my favor, but the Constitution must be followed. That should be the first and the paramount thing in all of this. And we are not saying it because of only Tinubu. We will say it to any other president. Because it favors President Tinubu today, it might favor another president. If we now start to flagrantly violate the Constitution, then we'll not move further. I know other people will attack and say, Rufai, what are you saying? Is it today they've been violating the Constitution? But does it make it right? Here's the question I posed to Chief Clark. When he said, we've all been violating, let's just be in the Constitution. But I asked him, by going through a Yoruba proverb, by saying, so if the head of the child is bent as we speak, do we now say because the head of the child is bent, we keep on pooping on the Constitution? We still need to uphold it one way or the other, because if we don't have a Constitution, we don't have a country. That's what binds us together. And that's why a lot of people have been calling on the president to think of his decision. Because we know the beginning, we might not know the end. If you say, oh, constitution does not matter, it's an invitation to anarchy. Just like everybody screamed as regards the Aida Tiwa case. Now, why would you say that status quo should be maintained? We all know that the governor, we hope he gets well on time, could not carry out his function. The constitution said the deputy governor should go in there. We all remember how Nigerians came out to fight for Goodluck Jonathan. Then, in the case of Yaradua. So if we all say we should be destroying the constitution because it favors us, then we're not going to have a country. And we keep inviting anarchy. Hope the day anarchy will come, we will not act as saints or act brand new. Because we are seeing it now, it's happening, nobody's saying anything about it. It favors me, let's continue like that.
All right. So we need to quickly take this story. Thank you so much, Mr. Yemi.